Hey friends, it's Nikki here with Stillwater's Wreath Designs. Come along with me today as we make this super cute and easy Easter door swag using all supplies from the Dollar Tree. We are going to make a quick and cute Dollar Tree Easter door swag today. This is the second one for this season, so make sure you check out that other link if you've not had a chance to watch it yet. Let's run through real quickly the supplies that we'll be using. We're going to use 2 of these Dollar Tree Easter trees. I grabbed 1 package of large and 1 package of small of the Dollar Tree Easter egg picks. I've also got 1 of the Dollar Tree Easter egg yard pokes. And then I've got a partial roll of 10-inch pink opalescent white deco mesh. And then a variety of wired ribbon to make a bow. We'll review that in just a moment. And of course, you'll also need a couple of zip ties, your glue gun and some glue sticks, and a good pair of scissors. Let's build our swag base first. Go ahead and open up both boxes of your Easter tree. So by themselves, friends, these guys are probably 14 inches in length, but we're going to double them up. So inside your box, you're going to find your tree, and then you're also going to see that they've got an attachment at the bottom, these plastic pieces that are meant for the feet of the tree, and then 4 plastic feet. You can go ahead and throw away those plastic feet. You're not going to need those. And also just unscrew this white plastic piece at the bottom of your spine of the tree here. So we'll go ahead and get those popped off real quick. I'm not sure if the camera is able to show you this accurately, friends, but these trees are actually a cross between white and clear, but they're very opalescent. So depending on how they shift, they've got reflections of yellow, pink, and purple. So I think they'll be so cute for this door swag I have in mind. Once you get both of those plastic bases off, then you're just left with the tree bits and then the metal spine. Go ahead and grab either some floral wire or 2 6-inch zip ties, because we're going to actually marry these 2 together. And they're going to go in opposite directions. So just take your zip tie near the edge of each end and lock them down. Make sure you leave a little bit of room at the end so that they don't slide off. They should be totally fine, but we want to make sure they don't slide off. So that's what you've got there, and cinch them up really tight. And then take your glue gun and just run a bead of glue right over the metal spine of that tree and your zip tie to really give it that extra bit of strength and stability. We're going to give that just a couple of minutes to dry before we start fluffing out our tree. You can also cut off the ends of those zip ties at this point, friends. We don't need those. Woo! So how is everyone? Happy March. So once you've got the hot glue added and we've trimmed off the ends, we can fluff out the tree. Just avoid you know, where your hot glue is. It's still going to be warm and a little bit tacky. And we're going to fluff the tree branches out not all the way around, of course, because this is going to be a door swag. So it's going to end up on our or a customer's door. So 2/3 of it needs to be fluffed, or 3/4 I should say. And then the back needs to remain flat. And we're really just standing these branches up, guys, because we're going to add some deco mesh in. And we'll be using these branches to anchor that deco mesh down. And so your very last branch, which was meant to be the top of your tree, is going to be pretty long. And we don't want it to be that long. So when you get to this branch here, just go ahead and fold it in half. Kind of double it over so that it blends in with the rest of your tree. And you can see that these shed quite a bit. They'll just keep shedding. No need to clean it up until you're done. So I'm kind of taking those branches and just pushing them towards the center a little bit. That way we can close in the gap. Usually I would marry these bases closer together, but because our Easter egg pick is so large, I wanted to give it lots of room. Hence we've got that big old gap. All right, now flip it around and do the exact same thing. I like to grab these not only for Easter swags, friends, but they're great for Mother's Day or any spring door swag. So head on over to your Dollar Tree and grab a handful so you've got plenty for any swags you may want to make this spring. Alrighty. So now we've got it fluffed out, and I know it's got that gap in the middle, but we're going to take care of that. So go ahead and sit that swag base off to the side. So the next step is to add in this deco mesh. I just grabbed a partial roll. I'm sure I'll need some more. But this is just 10-inch deco mesh. It's actually white. However, it's got a lot of pinkish, purple, opalescent shimmer through it. I'm not sure if the camera is capturing that. So I'm just going to grab my scissors. I'm not even going to measure this out. I'm going to guess that to be about 18 to 20 inches in length for the piece size, guys. And I'm just going to cut it until my roll is gone. And I'll meet you back here. All right, friends, I started out with 10 cuts of the deco mesh. Again, I'm guessing that they're 18 to 20 inches in length. So we'll start with 10 and see how far that takes us. So go ahead and grab your swag base and bring it back out. And now we're going to load the deco mesh into our base. And so to curl your mesh, just take your piece. Let me get that back out of the way, guys. And we're going to do a cruffle as I typically do. So all you're going to do is let each end of your deco mesh piece roll in on itself 1 or 2 times. That'll tuck your edges under and help prevent the fray of your deco mesh, as it likes to do. And once you've got those couple of curls on each end, just pinch and gather in the middle until your hands meet. And then you've got what we call a cruffle, because it's got the curls on one end and then the ruffle in the middle. And I'm going to start at the top, adding one to the tippy top, and just using these ties from the tree as our anchor. So I'm going to push that cruffle to the spine of the tree, give it a couple of tight twists with those tree branches, and add the next. I'm just going to work my way down one side and then back up the other, adding cruffles as I go. I feel pretty confident that we'll probably need to cut probably 5 to 10 more, but let's just see before we cut. Anyway, go ahead and make your cruffles. Fill up your swag base. Work your way down one side and back the other. And I'll meet you back here. Looks like I'm going to need 3 or 4 more cruffles, friends. So I'm going to go ahead and get those cut up now. One thing I wanted to add about this base, it's not only great for door swags, but it's also great for table centerpieces. If you'd like to see me make a centerpiece out of the Dollar Tree Easter trees, drop me a comment below and we'll add that to our creating schedule. All right, friends, it looks like I ended up using 12 cuts of 18 to 20 inch deco mesh. That's 10 inches in width. I've got one piece left. Just gonna find it a home and get it added in. So now we've got our base totally built out. It's already looking nice and full, which is just what we like to see. So the next step is to add the Easter egg yard pick, also from the Dollar Tree. Let me just peel that sticker off. And you can choose if you leave this bow on or off. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to see much of it once we're done here. So what I'm going to do, friends, I'm going to actually add this. If you part that deco mesh, we're going to add this Easter egg pick to that spine just because it's such a good sturdy place to do so. I want the egg to actually be in the bottom half of this swag because we're going to add a bougie bow up towards the top. So that means the stake needs to be closer to the bottom and not in the middle, as I had originally thought. Once you've got it primarily where you want, go ahead and find a couple of those ties that we didn't use for the deco mesh to wrap around that base. So you're going to use one pretty close to the top and make that super tight. 2 or 3 tight twists where the egg meets the stake, and then you can just, until you have it at the angle that you'd like, go ahead and anchor it towards the bottom too, once you've twisted that egg where you'd like to see it. And as you can see, we're just using these pine ties. Originally I was going to use zip ties, but then I realized we had enough of these super cute pine ties that we could just use them for an anchor. Make sure you give it several tight twists so that it's really anchored in the way you'd like. Then once you have it where you want it, friends, go ahead and flip it over. And what I want you to do is grab your glue gun, which should be nice and hot, lift up some of that mesh, just get some dollops of glue to help really keep that guy where we want it. And then grab your scissors or, you know, anything other than your hand basically, and push those down on. To the egg to really grab a hold of that glue, just to give you some extra stability. Perfect. Now we'll give it some dry time. You can still work with it, just don't fuss with it too much. One thing I'll tell you about the ties that I've noticed specifically on the Easter Dollar Tree pieces, they're kind of sharp. So once we're done, I think I'm going to actually curl them down in because they're a little bit too pokey for my liking. So we've got our base made. Let's just see how long it is. I'm going to guess 24 inches from end to end. I was wrong. It's 28 inches. So that's a really good door swag size. And then what I'm going to do at this point, friends, I'm going to go ahead and make my bow. So I'm going to set this off to the side and grab our bow materials. All right, guys. For my usual, I'm going to use my bow dabber today. It's my preferred way to make a bow. I'm going to zoom through this pretty quickly. However, I will tell you that if you are someone who is new to bow making and still struggling with that a bit, I'll leave a couple of links in the description for you. One will show you how to use the bow dabber, and the other will show you how to make an easy hand bow. So for this particular bow, I'm going to use a standard white pipe cleaner as the anchor because it'll blend in nicely with our white opalescent deco mesh. And then I've grabbed a variety of wired ribbon that really match the Easter egg stake nicely that we've added as our focal point. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bow with the ribbon really quickly, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, guys, we've got our bow made, and of course I don't generally fluff my bows out until I've got it added into my wreath or swag. Feel free to do so ahead of time if you'd like. I just prefer to wait until I've got it added in, and you'll notice that on one side of my bow stack here my tails are far longer than my other, and that's because I'd like to add a flow down one side, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's go ahead and grab our swag base and bring it back in. And we're going to add the bow right up here at the top at an angle using the wire ties that are actually pre-built into our tree here. So make sure your tails are going the right way. You want your longer side of tails going down the side that does not have the egg. And near the top here, I'm just going to go ahead and place this guy in where I can find two ties, and then give it two pretty tight ties down. And then I'll part those out of the way so that our bow stack is off to the side here. Okay? At this point, friends, I'm going to go ahead and trim these remaining tree ties out and then curl those bits down, just a partial twist down so that they're not so pokey, because they are super pokey. So take a couple of minutes and just go through your swag and get those trimmed down, because we're not going to use those anymore at the top. I don't want you to trim down here at the bottom, just everything above the Easter egg and that pick. All right, so I've got those trimmed. I'm sure I'll find some more along the way. Still not going to worry about fluffing my loops just yet, but I do want to work with the longer 2.5 inch tails here, and I'm going to actually put them kind of together, and because they're wired, they'll take the shape of what we like. And then near where the Easter egg is anchored down, I'm going to find a couple of more ties that are close together. and create a ribbon bump. So you're just going to shove that in there. Make sure you've got extra in there because you really want that to be kind of up and over. And then, using some of those ties that we hadn't trimmed, go ahead and anchor those down. I'm not going to dovetail these ribbons today, friends. I'm just going to cut them at an angle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that blue one. And in my case, this pink one's nearly too short. Let's see. Well, we can give it a little trim. Okay. Now we're going to fluff out the bow. This is going to be our rough fluff. We'll come back in and give it that final fluff once we're totally done. I've just got 2 loops of each color, one on each side with the exception of the yellow. So I'm just going to fluff and pull them out, just so I have a basic idea of where they'll be laying. Here we go. And just like my wreaths, friends, I don't like my ribbons to stick out much farther than my swag, nor do I like them to block any embellishments I've added in. So I've trimmed my tails a little bit. If you're unsure about where you want them to lie, cut gingerly. You can always take more off, but you can't put it back on once you've cut it. And like I said, we'll fluff that out one more final time once we're finished here. So I'm just giving that first trim, making sure nothing's blocked, and making sure I like the way they're laying. Looking cute, looking cute. I think that's pretty good for a rough fluff. Hopefully you've still got your glue gun plugged in, friends. If not, make sure it is now. And now I'm going to put just a couple of ribbon tails here at the bottom of our swag. So all I'm going to do is grab probably a 12-inch piece. I'm just going to rough guess this, friends. A 12-inch piece of both of my 2.5-inch wide ribbons. And then we'll add those into our bottom bit here. So I've cut them. I'm going to just fold them in half so that I can easily find that center. And then I'm going to pinch and pleat in the center and fold it at a V. And then I'm going to come down here to nearly the bottom of our swag, find a couple of those pokey ties from our tree, place that down at the base and give it 2 or 3 really tight twists to add that tail in, and then I'm going to cut off these bits. All right, and then we'll trim that tail up here in just a short bit. So now we've added some ribbon, we've done our rough fluff, we've added our embellishment, and we've thrown some tails in. So, last but not least, we're going to go ahead and add in our Easter egg picks, also from the Dollar Tree. I don't know how many I'm going to use, friends. I just grabbed 1 package of each. I always start with the larger. Go ahead and grab your wire snips or whatever cutters that you have that are stronger than your scissors, because we will be trimming most of these sticks off of the eggs. I always like to double check my Dollar Tree picks and just give them a little pull and make sure they're on there sturdy. If they're not, you can just add a dollop of glue to make sure that they're nice and sturdy. So So I've got my cutters here, and I'm going to trim my tails, or picks, I should say, the wood picks off 2/3 of the way, leaving a couple of inches on each of those. That's just personal preference, guys. Always leave yourself some wiggle room, just like the ribbon. You can always take more off, but you can't add it back on. Well, see how that one just came undone? So what we're going to do is just add some glue right down into the hole of that guy. Grab our wooden skewer and shove that down in there. And then we're going to set it off to the side so we remember to give that some dry time. All right. I think while I'm in here, some of these ties that are obviously too long and infringing on the view of our Easter egg pick, I'm going to trim off. They're just really sharp. I've not noticed that in any other season. And I don't want to scratch my door or my customer's door or poke myself. So I'm just going to trim as I find them and fold them down under. So I think up here at the top, I definitely want to add a yellow egg just because we have the least amount of yellow ribbon. And I like to kind of do a dry run on where I like to put my embellishments before I glue them down. So I'm just going to place them where I think I'd like to put them. And that purple one's dry enough to trim, guys. Just don't manhandle it too much. All right, I think I like that placement. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my glue gun and anchor those guys down in. So just one by one, pull it out. Run an inch or so of glue. Put it back where you'd like to see it at. Just make sure it's grabbing a hold of something, either bits of the tree or the ribbon or the mesh when you stick it back in, so you don't have to re-glue later. Cute, 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 guys. Ooh, sorry about that. If you've got a minimal amount of things to anchor to, you can put some on your foam egg as well to grab a hold of any mesh or ribbon that's nearby. So now we've added in our larger egg picks. And it is looking super, super cute. Remember, we still need to fluff out that bow. I'm going to go ahead and grab the smaller Easter egg picks also from the Dollar Tree. There's 10 in this pack. I nearly certainly won't use all of them, but you know, it's personal preference. So I'm going to grab out some of those different colors that we didn't have with the larger. So I'm going to just pull out that tangerine and the lime. Go ahead and grab this purple. So I'm going to start out with just 4 and see if we feel like we need any more after that. So just like with the larger ones, friends, go ahead and trim off all but a couple of inches of your skewers. Give it a tug on the end to make sure that that's added in sturdy, and if not, just reaffix it with some glue. I feel like there's usually about 1 egg in every pack that needs some glue attention. All right, so just like before, I'm going to dry run add these in to our swag. just to get an idea of where I want them. And I definitely think that'll be the perfect number. So for my taste, I won't be adding any more. All right, we've got those Easter eggs added in. I'm going to set my glue gun off to the side. And now I'm just going to trim the tails at the end of our swag, cutting them at an angle just like we did the others. And I think I'll cut the pink about a 1/2 inch shorter than the blue, just to make sure that that blue gets some time to shine down there. And because it's wired, you know, you can use your fingers to curl those and run them however you want. Looking good. Let me just take a look for one more bit of embellishment here. One moment, friends. I went ahead and grabbed some floral embellishments also from Dollar Tree. I think we'll add just a few here and there. This is what they look like. These are actually from last year, friends, so I don't know if they still have them available or not. But there are probably 6 to 8 per bunch, stems per bunch. So I'm just going to add in a few. I've got purple, pink, and yellow. So I'm going to start off by cutting just one of each, just as a little added something. Leaving just probably 1.5 inches or so of stem to anchor down. So let's add those in and see what we think. Of course, I'll do my dry run first. Yep, I think those look cute. Let's go ahead and commit and glue those guys down. So just like before, run a bead of glue down that stem and add it in place. Let's try that again. There we go. That's perfect. Perfect, perfect. For my taste, that is enough embellishments, and I'm really happy with this. You could keep loading it with those glitter berries if you'd like, but I think it turned out super cute. So I'm just going to poke at this bow a little bit more, just get those fluffed a little bit more to my liking. And we are finished, friends. I'm going to go ahead and add a photo of this to the end of our video so you can see what it looks like hanging. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see a centerpiece made out of Dollar Tree trees, make sure you leave a comment below. And if you've not already subscribed, please do so. Thanks, friends. Happy crafting.